I'll go through mine first. I'm Zoe Berry. I'm a creative. I was born in California, raised in California. Sorry, I was not. I was born in Michigan, raised in California. Moved out to the Valley about 5 years ago. And I've been in love with marketing since 2010. So we are going to start with, I would like you to turn to your neighbor and introduce yourself first, of course. What is a new experience that you would like to encounter this year? And I'll give you about a minute to talk about it. We're looking for volunteers to share out loud. Up here now. You don't have to come up here, just from where you are. Share what? What is a new experience that you would like to encounter this year? What you guys just chatted about amongst yourself. Sure.
I'm going to do a study abroad this year. I went back to my master's. I didn't go in undergrad. So.
Where are you going?
I'm not sure that there's 3 programs, one in Sweden, one in Australia, and one in Japan.
Cool. Might have a creative
Yeah, go
career now. Well, thank you for sharing. I do actually have something for you if you'd like to come up. You don't have to right now, you can come up later. Anyone else want to share? Yes.
I want to make wooden spoons when I get into woodworking.
Oh, that's cool. Not to let me know when this started. And then likewise, I have something for you if you want to come up later. All right, so we are going to talk about journey and connection a bit today. Before you go on your own little mental journey for the next 15 minutes, I want to bring you back to this moment and the connection that you just formed, because shared experiences are what connect us with others. So, journey is a theme that really resonated with me. I think it's a fun theme because all of our experiences are so different, but by sharing them with others, we're able to connect. And that's not something that you really think about or realize unless you're talking about it with that person. Essentially, journey is a form of connection with others. So, today I'm going to share a little bit more about my experiences over the past year and how I wouldn't have found the community that I didn't if I didn't experience that vulnerability. I'm going to set the scene for you. It was a Creative Mornings back in August 2023. The theme was Pride. I didn't really think much of it, didn't think there was really much for me to gain, but showed up anyways. When I was preparing for today, I stumbled upon this quote: "Pride is when you raise your voice in defense of someone who is powerless, saying enough, because that someone might just be yourself." And let me tell you, if I had seen that then, I would have known that I was exactly where I needed to be. But during the 30-second spotlight for all the newcomers, something that we have at the end where you can stand up, show anything, or share anything that's going on in the creative network or anything personal, I stood up, I shared my story, and I cried. For the first time in my career, I had just been fired from a company. And this is a company that I had given beyond my all to. I had moved to the Valley for them. I had spent 4 years with them just trying to do the best work I could. So I was going through a whirlwind of emotions. And I realized in that moment that there were so many people there that were supporting me. They gave me hugs. They offered words of encouragement. They asked what they could do to help. It was in that moment that I knew I had found my community and I would be okay. I had felt so lost at the time. I hated marketing. I hated design. I honestly hated everything, and that's not really me as a person. Oh, sorry, I'm too loud.
Sorry, no, you're just having a hard time. I think it's rubbing. Let's try that.
Can you hear me now? Okay. All right, back again. I felt so lost. I hated marketing. I hated design. I hated everything, and that's not really me. So I knew that I needed a change in scenery, and I knew that I needed to put myself in a new environment or a new experience to gain a new perspective, because that sense of discovery is what sparks inspiration. I knew that I was stuck in my head, so I needed to move my feet. So naturally, I ran off to Europe for a month and a half, as one does. I was overwhelmed with emotion while I was over there. Yes, I did blow up a picture of me crying on the screen. Vulnerability, all about vulnerability. So this is me crying watching a sunset in Rome. This is a pizza that was so good it made me cry. This is me crying in Florence at the Duomo, which is absolutely beautiful, and if you're able to go, I strongly recommend that you do. And I share this with you is because while I was over there, I had to practice kindness pretty regularly and remind myself that I had made it through every single experience thus far. The good, the bad, the ugly, crying. So I knew I'd be all right as long as I stay true to myself. And honestly, going through all of those experiences is such a commendable thing to do that I don't think we often recognize enough. But those experiences are ultimately what has helped shape me. They're what has helped me establish my values and really grow into myself. It's what has helped me form the authentic relationships that I have today. So I ended up coming back from Europe with lifted spirits and feeling inspired by all of the art and the architecture over there. That for the first time in years, I actually started to paint again. And of that, I got these two new paintings, which you're more than welcome to come up and look at after. Hold this one up for those that can't see in the back. They still leave me feeling a little vulnerable because I know that the place that I was in when I made them. But I knew that I needed to put my art for the rest of the world to see and share with them. I started vending at art markets around the same time. And my first art market, that's me sweating in 110-degree pools because it's so hot here. At my first art market, I sold a painting. And guess what I did? I cried. It is such, sorry Zoom. It was such a surreal and humbling moment knowing that there was someone out there that resonated with my art and loved it so much that they wanted to keep it for themselves. Now looking back, I think the reason why I connected with my Creative Mornings and art community is because a creative life requires bravery and action, honesty, and hard work. So, now I want you to turn back to your new friend. We are really only going to give this a minute, okay? And I will wave my hands when we're done. I hope you remember their name. You're going to ask them, what's a moment that your community inspired you to take a bold step? Okay, we're bringing it back. So, is there anyone that wants to share now? I have presents, so that's an incentive for you. There's two more to give. Anyone? I know it's a little vulnerable. Yeah.
Me and my business partner Katie both left the larger healthcare world in the last few years, and it was something that the work we were doing didn't feel like it fit in that environment anymore, and we couldn't do what we needed to for the community we were supporting in that environment. And then by leaving, it felt so much more like we're part of that community, and building kind of our own thing, doing it outside of that larger system.
Congrats.
It's been great and challenging.
I'll accept that for both of you. Okay, so if you want to share, you'll have your chance, just saying. But I'm around later, so if you want to share just with me, that's fine. I have realized that I had people celebrating me, encouraging me, and pushing me to create the things that I love. And one of those things is marketing. I fell in love with marketing back in 2010 with, I don't know if you guys know it because I've asked others and they don't, I'm going to say it anyways, those crazy lady Target commercials from the holidays where she's running around and preparing to, thank you, my people, preparing to compete for Black Friday. Yeah, that's what made me fall in love with marketing. So ever since then, it's always been a dream of mine to have my own agency, but I have always struggled with imposter syndrome, and I still do. I found that that never goes away, but it does start to diminish. And I struggled with imposter syndrome and trying to sell others on my work. It felt disingenuous to me. I realized that all of the experiences vending and putting myself out there and networking and creating made me realize just how much I was missing marketing. And it was around that time that someone that I previously worked with had reached out to see if we could work on a project together. The outcome was so positive. I learned so much about my skill set. I learned where there was room for improvement and that I'm actually capable of advocating for myself. So from that, Berry Brand Co. is created. Woo. Thank you. I decided that I would offer absolutely every service under the sun, including the ones that I didn't want to but felt obligated to offer. And I realized that now that I needed to encounter that to figure out what it was I wanted to do and experience that as a part of my journey. So, here's some lovely photos of me from the past year, because entrepreneurship is quite the emotional roller coaster. And all of these, this is when I signed my first client on my own. That wasn't a referral, that was just probably a Monday. This is when I went through a bit where I struggled with imposter syndrome so bad that I just could not create at all, and there were like 3 weeks where I did absolutely no business. That was then, and that was rough. But I share all this with you because I don't think enough people do, and it's a vulnerable part of the process. It's an experience that you have to go through. And from that, like, even though these are all there were a lot of moments and experiences that were so positive and I would change for the world. I share all of this with you because as we go through life, everyone you meet is at a different point in their journey. Some of us know where we're going, while other paths are full of twists and turns and obstacles in our way. But I would have had no idea what was to come if I didn't trust that it would all work itself out as long as I lived in alignment. I realized that there are no tricks or detours because there are no shortcuts on a journey to self-discovery or creative expression. So, here's what I leave you with. You are never traveling alone. We may all be on our own separate journey, but the experiences that we encounter are what weave our paths together and connect us with others. So, remember how you introduced yourself in the beginning? That's the first step into the journey of connection. So I challenge you to be honest with yourself. Be honest about where you are on your journey and what that means for you. Because after all, journeys are meant to connect us. So, how will you use the experiences from your journey to shape the connections that you build with others? Thank you.